Rewiring a 3,500 square foot home with aluminum wiring can be a significant project. Estimating the cost is an important first step. The average cost to rewire a home with aluminum wiring ranges from $2.50 to $5.0 per square foot. Based on this estimate, the cost to rewire a 3,500 square foot home would be approximately $8,750 to $17,500. However, square footage is not the best way to estimate the cost of rewiring a home. It is more accurate to base the cost on the time and materials required, which can vary depending on the complexity of the electrical system and the condition of the wiring. The time and materials estimate will take into account the actual work involved, the number of outlets, the length of wire runs, and any obstacles in the walls or ceilings. While rewiring is the safest and most effective way to address aluminum wiring, there are some ways to minimize the risk without rewiring. Firstly, install arc fault circuit interrupters, or AFCIs. AFCIs can detect and interrupt electrical arcs, which are a common cause of fires with aluminum wiring. Secondly, use coppersafe connectors. Coppersafe connectors create a protective barrier between aluminum and copper wires, preventing corrosion and overheating. Thirdly, avoid overloading circuits. Ensure that no circuit is overloaded with appliances or devices to prevent overheating. Fourthly, perform regular inspection and maintenance. Regularly inspect the electrical system for signs of damage or overheating, and repair or replace any faulty components promptly. It is highly recommended to contact a licensed electrician to assess the situation and provide the best course of action. A licensed electrician can evaluate the condition of the existing wiring, identify any potential hazards, and recommend the most appropriate solution. Obtain quotes from several reputable electricians before making a decision. This will allow you to compare prices and services and choose the electrician that best fits needs and budget. While temporary measures may reduce the risk, rewiring is the ultimate solution to ensure long-term safety and peace of mind. Consider the age of the home, the extent of the aluminum wiring, and the potential for future problems. Rewiring will provide a safer and more reliable electrical system. The primary concern with aluminum wiring is its tendency to loosen at connection points over time. This loosening can lead to increased resistance, causing the connections to overheat and potentially start a fire. Aluminum also expands and contracts more than copper with temperature changes, exacerbating the problem of loose connections. Furthermore, aluminum is more susceptible to corrosion than copper, which can further degrade the connections and increase resistance. When aluminum wiring was first introduced as a cheaper alternative to copper, the connections were not always made properly. This led to many of the problems that are now associated with aluminum wiring. Modern solutions, such as coppersafe connectors, aim to mitigate these issues by providing a secure and corrosion-resistant connection between aluminum and copper wires. However, these solutions are not a substitute for rewiring. AFCIs are designed to detect arc faults, which are a common indicator of a problem with aluminum wiring. An arc fault occurs when electricity jumps from one conductor to another, creating a spark. This can happen when a connection is loose or corroded. AFCIs can detect these arc faults and quickly shut off the circuit, preventing a fire. However, AFCIs are not a foolproof solution, and they should not be relied upon as the sole means of protection. Regular inspection and maintenance are essential for identifying potential problems with aluminum wiring before they become serious. Look for signs of overheating, such as discoloration or melting of the insulation around wires or connections. Also, check for loose connections or corrosion. If any of these problems are found, they should be addressed immediately by a qualified electrician. When obtaining quotes from electricians, be sure to ask about their experience with aluminum wiring. Also, ask about the types of materials they use and their approach to the job. It is important to choose an electrician who is knowledgeable and experienced in dealing with aluminum wiring. The cost of rewiring a home can vary depending on several factors, including the size of the home, the complexity of the electrical system, and the location of the home. It is important to get multiple quotes from different electricians to get a good idea of the cost. When considering whether to rewire a home, it is important to weigh the cost against the benefits. Rewiring can be a significant investment, but it can also provide peace of mind and protect from the risk of fire. In addition to the safety benefits, rewiring can also increase the value of the home. A home with a modern electrical system is more attractive to potential buyers. Aluminum wiring was used in many homes built in the 1960s and 1970s as a cheaper alternative to copper. However, it was soon discovered that aluminum wiring can be a fire hazard. The problems with aluminum wiring are well documented, and there are several ways to mitigate the risks. However, rewiring is the only way to completely eliminate the risks associated with aluminum wiring. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, provides specific requirements for aluminum wiring. These requirements are designed to ensure that aluminum wiring is installed safely. However, even if aluminum wiring is installed according to the NEC, it can still be a fire hazard if it is not properly maintained. It is important to regularly inspect aluminum wiring and to have it repaired or replaced if necessary. Several different types of connectors are available for use with aluminum wiring. These connectors are designed to provide a secure and corrosion-resistant connection between aluminum and copper wires. However, not all connectors are created equal. It is important to choose a connector that is specifically designed for use with aluminum wiring. Several different types of AFCIs are available. Some AFCIs are designed to protect the entire circuit, while others are designed to protect only a specific outlet. It is important to choose an AFCI that is appropriate for the application. When choosing an electrician, be sure to ask about their insurance coverage. It is important to choose an electrician who is adequately insured in case of an accident. Also, ask for references from previous customers. It is important to choose an electrician who has a good reputation. When getting quotes from electricians, be sure to ask for a detailed breakdown of the costs. This will allow to compare the costs of different electricians and to make sure that you're getting a fair price. It is important to get a written contract from the electrician before they start work. The contract should specify the scope of the work, the materials to be used, and the price. This will help to protect in case of a dispute. The process of rewiring a home can be disruptive. It is important to be prepared for the disruption and to make arrangements to minimize the impact on the daily routine. It is also important to be aware of the potential hazards associated with rewiring a home. It is important to take precautions to protect self and family from these hazards. Rewiring a home can be a complex project. It is important to be patient and to allow the electrician adequate time to complete the work. It is also important to be available to answer any questions that the electrician may have. Once the rewiring is complete, it is important to have the electrical system inspected by a qualified inspector. This will ensure that the work has been done properly and that the electrical system is safe. In addition to rewiring, there are other things that can do to improve the safety of electrical system. These include installing smoke detectors, carbon monoxide detectors, and surge protectors. It is also important to avoid overloading circuits and to use extension cords safely. By taking these precautions can significantly reduce the risk of electrical fires and other electrical hazards. When considering the long-term safety of home, rewiring is the ultimate solution to ensure peace of mind. While temporary measures may reduce the risk, they do not eliminate it completely. Rewiring will provide a safer and more reliable electrical system for years to come. The decision of whether or not to rewire a home is a personal one. There are many factors to consider, including the cost, the risks, and the potential benefits. However, if you are concerned about the safety of electrical system, rewiring is the best option. If you are planning to rewire a home, it is important to start planning early. This will allow to get multiple quotes from electricians to choose the best electrician for needs and to schedule the work at a convenient time. Rewiring a home can be a significant undertaking, but it is an investment that will pay off in the long run. Rewiring will provide a safer, more reliable, and more valuable home. Remember to consider the local electrical codes and regulations when rewiring home. These codes are designed to ensure that electrical work is done safely and properly. It is also important to obtain any necessary permits before starting work. Working without a permit can result in fines and penalties. When rewiring a home, it is important to use high-quality materials. This will ensure that the electrical system is durable and reliable. It is also important to choose materials that are compatible with aluminum wiring. Several different types of wiring are available for use in homes. The most common types of wiring are copper and aluminum. Copper wiring is more expensive than aluminum wiring, but it is also more durable and reliable. Aluminum wiring is less expensive than copper wiring, but it is also more susceptible to corrosion and overheating. When rewiring a home, it is important to choose the right type of wiring for needs. If you are concerned about the safety of electrical system, consider using copper wiring. Another factor to consider when rewiring a home is the size of the electrical panel. The electrical panel is the central point of the electrical system. It is responsible for distributing electricity to the various circuits in the home. If the electrical panel is too small, it may not be able to handle the electrical load of the home. This can lead to overloaded circuits and other electrical problems. When rewiring a home, it is important to make sure that the electrical panel is large enough to handle the electrical load of the home. In addition to rewiring, there are other things that can do to improve the energy efficiency of home. These include installing energy-efficient appliances, using LED lighting, and insulating the walls and attic. By taking these steps can reduce energy consumption and save money on utility bills. When rewiring a home, it is important to consider the impact on the environment. It is important to dispose of old wiring and other electrical materials properly. These materials can be recycled or disposed of at a hazardous waste facility. By taking these steps can help to protect the environment. When rewiring a home, it is important to work with a qualified electrician. A qualified electrician will have the knowledge and experience to do the job safely and properly. They will also be able to answer any questions that may have. Finding a qualified electrician is as easy as calling a local electrical company in the area.